I've got two beautiful cards to share with you today, and there's no black ink. In fact, there's no stamping, and it's all done with 2 die cuts. Welcome back to another Take Two with Therese at Altenew, and we have zero waste today. Seriously, we do. It's the zero waste 3D floral cover die, and I'm going to be doing 2 die cuts only to make 2 beautiful cards. So this beautiful cover die cuts multiple flowers and leaves all in one pass. You can use it as a cover die, you can use the pieces to layer up and create beautiful flowers in whatever way that you want. Their options are amazing. I decided just to use some white cardstock today and do some really clean and simple and a more dainty kind of style for these cards. So I literally cut it once in some 80-pound Neenah, and I've got the mini blending tool and some really pale pink ink and adding some colour to the centre of the flowers. One thing to note is that the colour may dry just a little bit lighter, so I do actually do this when I'm doing layers, is I zip between colours, just giving it that little bit of time to dry just to see what the final colour will be like. And then I came in with that gorgeous silver sage colour. I'm really loving this Frosty foliage set, the new round inks. The colours are probably one of my favourite at the moment. And when the pink ink had dried back, I did want it to be a little bit more vibrant, so I've got one of the detailed blending brushes this time and adding some coral berry to the centre of the flowers, but I do not want it to be too bold. So I have a piece of paper towel that I'm actually tapping off the ink and just leaving the minutest amount on the brush before just adding that little bit to the pink centers of the flowers. And I also came into the leaves and added a bit of the jade color to give them a little bit more depth. So my next step to create my flowers was to give them a little bit of dimension. So what I'm using here is actually one of the detailed blending brushes. It's the smallest one and it's a round barrel shape. So I'm actually teasing the paper, the cardstock, with that round barrel. I'm just sort of rolling the edges of the petals to give them some dimension. And these petals actually, when they die cut, do have etching in them, like some lines, so they are easy to maneuver and give some shape to. Like I said, you can add as many or as few layers as you want to these flowers, and I did layer them up just using some liquid glue. Anyone could create these cards. They really are very easy to do, and if you're not a confident stamper or you prefer to die cut, this is a great option. So for the sentiment, here comes my second die cut of the day. I decided to not use any black cardstock or ink. I'm using the XOXO More Die Set, which is a sentiment set that has a shadow layer. So I ran that through my die cutting machine, and I did want the words to be that pale green color that the leaves are, and I literally created my own cardstock by blending some of the silver sage and jade inks onto the cardstock before I die cut the letters. It's easier than trying to add the color after. And I like to try and leave the tittle in place in the die cut, so that way I'm not chasing it and trying to find it later. All right, my first card, I'm just going to assemble some of the flowers now. I did add a little bit of foam tape behind a couple of the flowers, and the other 2 I actually attached directly to the card front. I used some of the ultra sticky tape from Altenew because I know these flowers aren't going to go anywhere if I use that. You could also use a liquid glue if you prefer, or even a like one of those glue dots. Whatever you've got would work really well. I just really like the hold of the ultra sticky tape. It's nice and strong. And for the leaves, I just used my glue tape. And the reason I like to use my glue tape for something like this is liquid glue would work really well, but with glue tape, it's nice and forgiving. And I can easily lift up the leaves again and re-site them if I'm not happy with where I've put them. It helps me be less indecisive because I know I can move it if I need to. And I also popped up the sentiment using some of the foam tape. I did think about coming in and adding some sequins, but I was really feeling in a clean and simple mood today. This card has a little bit more to it because I thought I'd use the leftover cover die to cover the front of my card. One tip I've got here, if you want to cut little tiny pieces of foam tape, I've just taken some off the roll and added it to some release paper. That way I can come in with my scissors and cut tiny little pieces and my scissors don't get all sticky. It works really well. So I just did a very similar clean and simple layout here. I used 3 of the flowers that I'd created, added some of the leaves again, and then popped up the sentiment friend. I had such fun. 2 die cuts, seriously, no stamping today, and 2 really beautiful cards. I'd like to know which card is your favourite today. I do like both, but I think I'm going to have to go with the smile version for my favourite. Thanks so much for joining me here. Till next time, bye.
Hello crafters, Jen here. For more tips, techniques, tutorials, and to discover which paper crafting products are right for you, subscribe to Altenew's YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Thanks for watching.